Hello, you're in tune with the Indiana State Police Roadshow. I'm your host today, Captain Dave BURSTEN, Chief Public Information Officer with the Indiana State Police. And we have two very special guests before that I think you've seen both their smiling faces before. We have Captain Special
with a smirk on his face.
Yeah. Captain Mike PRUITT. Mike, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dave.
How's everything at Wayne Township?
Everything is good in Wayne Township right now.
Excellent. I won't ask about the rest of the state or the rest of the county, but as long as Wayne Township is good. Yeah. And also, Sergeant John PERRINE, also a host for the Roadshow. Welcome. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
And we are getting ever so closer to the holiday season. We're in the holiday season, but we're getting into the real meat of it.
Seems like the holiday season started like October 1st this year.
I think it starts usually, it starts before Halloween.
Yeah.
It starts before Halloween. And I've been a terrible host. I forgot to thank our sponsor.
Oh.
I should do that.
Yeah.
The Indiana State Police Alliance and also Cops for Kids make our program possible. But who really makes it possible is the man behind the scenes, constantly adjusting the cameras and looking at things as he's doing now, walking ever so quietly and softly, tiptoeing like a mouse during Christmas. Tom Trial. And Tom's shaking his head at me now. I better stop while I'm behind.
Yeah.
So, but we've got a lot of things to talk about related to Christmas safety, trees. We're going to cover both sides. We're going to cover things in the home that you're going to cover, Mike, and we're going to talk about some shopping safety that you'll cover, John. So, Mike, let's start with you.
Well, one of the questions that I always get asked right out of the gate is, what about Christmas trees, live or fake? And I'm normally not going to recommend anything fake in a world of fake news, but I would recommend a fake Christmas tree.
My wife just turned the radio off. She's not listening anymore. Live tree in the BURSTEN household.
You know what? I love live Christmas trees. They're very traditional. But the problem is if people don't take care of these trees, they can become an extreme fire hazard. And, even though the frequency of fires caused across the country by live trees is rather low, the ones that do happen create very serious fires and do take lives.
Do you attribute the reduction, a combination of education as well as now the LED lights, they don't burn as hot as John's maybe not old enough. I think you're old enough to remember the big fat bulbs that got really hot.
Yeah, you couldn't grab it. You couldn't grab it on the Christmas tree. Or try to change a bulb or anything like that.
You had to turn it off, or you had to have a pair of gloves on to change it. Is that part of what's brought?
I think that has definitely contributed to the drop in fires, is because we make products safer. The fault in the whole thing comes from the human aspect. So when people choose to use the wrong lights on a tree, or they don't take care of the tree, or they put outside lights inside, that's where the fault lies, and that's where we get ourselves in trouble.
So is the problem having outside lights inside, or is it having the inside lights outside?
Well, inside lights, typically a lot of lights these days are indoor-outdoor. I mean, you can read the box and it's both. But most of the time it's because they may have outdoor lights, or they've held on to those lights that we were just talking about all these years. They belong to their grandpa, and they're going to use them over and over and over, and they decide they're going to use these on the inside, and they don't realize how hot these are going to get. And the moment they're up against something combustible, like a tree, wrapping paper, anything like that, we're going to have a fire.
Well, and speaking to live trees, I know that the care of that tree falls to moi. So my wife has to have the live tree. We give it a fresh cut. It's in a big, it's called The Last Tree Stand. There was a free plug for that company, The Last Tree Stand. And it's just huge, heavy metal. I fill that thing every morning, got the preservative that you put in the water and mix. And it's just a ritual the entire month of December to keep that thing filled up. And it usually stays fresh through that period of time.
Yeah, the earlier you buy that tree, the more care you're going to have to give it, obviously, because you have it longer. Where we see the heightened number of tree fires that do occur is late December and into January. That's where they're done with the holidays. Christmas comes and goes, and everybody's like over it, ready to move on. But they haven't quite built up the energy to take down that tree, but they stop taking care of it properly, and then we run into a problem where it catches fire.
Now, another concern is fireplaces.
fireplaces. A lot of times people start burning wood in their fireplace or their wood-burning stove this time of year, but they haven't had it properly inspected and cleaned, and there's creosote built up in there, and then they get a flue fire going and ends up catching their attic on fire and leads to a very destructive situation. The other thing we see people do is they like to burn wrapping paper in their fireplaces. Well, that wrapping paper,
off some, toxic fumes.
It puts off a lot of bad stuff. So if you don't have really good ventilation in your home, you're going to get some of that bad air and some of those toxic chemicals coming back into your home. The other thing it creates is it adds to that creosote built up in your fireplace, up in your flue. So we never want you to burn boxes or wrappers or anything like that in your fireplace. You need to dispose of those properly.
You know, something that I've learned through all my fireplace research.
You learned?
Yeah,
something?
you know, I've done a lot of research on this topic. But not all fireplaces are designed for wood burning. And so if you buy a house that has a fireplace, you need to have that inspected because it could be designed for gas logs only. And maybe the gas logs aren't there. You think you can throw some wood in there, and before you know it, you've got quite a fire.
Is this because of experience?
It is not. Just
Okay.
through my extensive research in fireplaces.
I was double checking to make sure.
One never knows. I had a friend
Yes.
at one time.
I know a guy.
So, and with that, the type of wood you burn. Correct me. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot. There's some wood you should never burn, isn't?
Well, the main thing about woods is you want them to cure. Yeah. And that doesn't mean you go cut it down and a week later you throw it in the fireplace, because then you're going to get that creosote build up. It's not going to burn well. We want to let that stuff set for a year. Yeah. And when you go out and purchase wood from people, make sure that it's cured wood. So you can burn the hardwoods and the soft pines, things like that. But the main thing that people make the mistake of is they try to burn this stuff when it's not ready to burn.
Yeah, or trees that are very sappy.
Absolutely, and that sap gets all over everything.
So, and along with that, I don't think any safety talk would be complete without talking about smoke alarms.
You know, I have this discussion so often about smoke alarms, and people go, well, what if this and what if that, and what if a fire starts here, and what if this outlet catches fire or a tree catches fire? You know, it still comes back to, no matter how the fire starts, if you do not have a working smoke alarm in your home, there's a chance you're probably not going to survive, especially if it's overnight.
Yeah, good point. John, I owe you a big apology. I've let Mike White monopolize the vast majority of our time here together.
That's okay.
But I know you're such a professional that you can hit on all the shopping safety points that we need to talk about. So now we'll let Mike sit patiently.
Well, this is fine because this gives me an opportunity to kind of give Mike some tips when he goes out shopping for my gift later.
Oh, so, excellent point.
So as you're shopping later, remember a couple things. There are people that are watching in these parking lots. We've learned that one of the strategies these criminals take is they'll watch. They'll sit in a car and they'll scout this parking lot. And they're looking for the person that brings a lot of things out, puts them in the back of their van, back of their SUV, or maybe even the lady that gets out of the car, she locks her purse in the trunk because she doesn't want to carry it in the mall. They're watching that, and they'll essentially tag that car mentally, not necessarily physically, and then they'll call in another group and they'll say, hey, that car right there, they've got gifts in the trunk, they've got gifts in the back, or a purse in the back, and they're scouting before, so they're not going around looking in windows anymore. They're actually scouting, watching people come and go.
Yeah, it's very, it's the low of the low. I almost said a word I can't say on radio. I'm glad I caught myself. It's just the people that will go and prey on others that have worked hard and want to be generous to their family, and sometimes are being generous to total strangers, and then to prey on that. We always hear stories of homes being broken into and the entire Christmas being taken away. You've got some other tips, though. What else?
Yeah, of course. One of the big things now, and I've even partaken this year more than ever, is online shopping. I mean, it seems so easy to sit in your living room and do your Christmas shopping, but outside of the security of online and the credit card and all that is when those packages get delivered, you need to make sure that somebody's there to take those inside at a reasonable time, because people are watching those as well.
The porch pirates.
Well, I'll tell you, that is unbelievable. And now, luckily, we have a lot of cameras on porches and things, but sometimes a simple photo of a suspect, as easy as it may seem, doesn't always lead to an arrest. So,
and I think some of the services now are offering services where you can go and pick up the packages, and I can't think of them by name, and I'm not trying to steer anybody to any service, but you can investigate those to have your packages delivered to a location where you go and pick them up.
Yeah, and it seems like you'll have lock boxes, or you could notify the post office and say, hey, I'm going to be out of town for a few days. Could you hold my packages in my mail? That's usually not an issue.
So any other general tips or thoughts of things?
Just be alert, increase your awareness as you're going out and about. Situational awareness, know what's going on around you. When you're leaving that store and you're going to your car, have your keys in your hand, know where your car is, be ready to get in and go. Don't lollygag in the parking lot. Don't get lost updating your Facebook status or your Twitter post on your phone, and be aware of what's going on around you.
And it's always good to shop with somebody else. Don't shop by yourself. It's more fun, and maybe you can keep you and your friend in check by not overspending. But then that's another set of eyes to be aware as you're coming out. Yeah, trust your instinct. If you're somewhere and something just doesn't feel right, if your body's telling you something's not right, then trust that and believe that, and find a way out, or be ready to evacuate, or have a plan in case something goes wrong.
Overspending isn't an issue for John.
So,
yeah, because when you have nothing and you spend nothing, you're good.
If I didn't know better, I'd say you guys plan that out. But I know better. You just work so well with each other. Something else that hardly is ever discussed after the holidays. A lot of people you get those gift receipts and you're taking things back. And the same things apply if you're going back to different stores, but you have everything in your car. You stop off at store A to do a return. Your stuff is in there. Same principles apply, don't they? Yeah, and with the popularity of SUVs and vans and things like that, it's really hard to secure something in a trunk. It's all visible. It's all visible. So yeah, you take the time to cover that stuff up, or as inconvenient as it is, maybe take over a span of time. Plan your returns over a couple of days. If you got 4 things to take back to store A, do that. We'd like to believe that all people are good, but we know there's a lot of people out there that are just looking to prey on easy opportunities. And if you give them that easy opportunity, you're going to become a victim. Yeah. Well, we've got just under 3 minutes left in today's show. And Mike, I want to jump back over to you. Are there any things that we didn't hit on of importance related to holiday safety in the home? Don't overload light sockets. That's something that we see. The Griswold effect? The Griswold effect. Don't do that. There's recommendations out there on how many cords of lights that you can put together out of one outlet. The other thing is that we're going to have some warmer weather coming up. Maybe get a couple days. That's a good time to decorate the home. Not on a day when there's snow and ice on the roof, because everybody wants to throw that ladder up, climb up on the roof, start hanging those decorations up and those lights, and they get extremely dangerous. We're always good for several people a year falling off a roof. My lights are on and have been for several weeks because I put them up a little bit before Thanksgiving, and my wife yelled at me for turning them on, and I said, I almost killed myself hanging these lights. I want to look at them. I'm putting them on. I actually expected you to tell me, living where you live, that you leave them up year round. So... Well, you left him speechless. So we've got Valentine's lights, St. Patrick's Day lights. Yeah, I get it. You just need to get the ones that are multicolored. But I do the same. I put ours up before Thanksgiving. We had that nice spot of weather. Got it done. Didn't want to have to do it in this kind of weather. And so the agreement at the BURSTEN household is I take care of the exterior and my wife takes care of the interior. Is that a contract that you have signed? That was a verbal, nonverbal life experience contract that has evolved over time. Oh, I got it. So yeah, it's just she would tell you that I'm the Grinch of the family. She loves Christmas, one of her favorite holidays, and it's a good time. Do you have do you guys have little police decorations all over the inside of the house? Little ornaments? I've got a few police ornaments. Yeah, got a few. Do you have firefighter ornaments? We have about 500. 500? Yes, we have almost had to go to 2 Christmas trees because of the number of firefighter ornaments we've collected. Do you have them inventoried? We do not have them inventoried. Again, just like you, I let my wife handle all that interior decorating. So, but yeah, we've massed quite the collection of fire department ornaments. So the next time John's over at your house admiring some, you might not notice if 1 or 2 came up missing. Well, probably not. It would be really hard to track that. Trust me, I would never take a firefighter ornament. Well, I want to thank you both so much for being on the show today and talking about these important topics: home safety, shopping safety. Tom, thank you for making us look better than we really are. And everybody, please be safe for the rest of the holiday season. In Rich Meyer's words, Roadshow out. Be careful.